Once upon a time, on a distant planet known as Zerathia, the skies were filled with shimmering colors, and vast cities made of crystal and metal reached for the stars. The ruler of this advanced civilization was an alien queen named Virella. Her intelligence was unmatched, and her power made her feared across the galaxy. Virella believed she was superior to all other species, particularly humans, whom she viewed as primitive and weak. One day, her advisors reported strange signals coming from a tiny blue planet called Earth. Curious, Virella decided to travel to this small world to observe its inhabitants. She believed that this visit would only prove her view of humanity. With a flicker of her hand, she summoned a portal and stepped through, leaving her royal palace behind. When Virella arrived on Earth, she was shocked at how different everything was. The air smelled strange, and the skies were not as bright as in Zerathia. She landed in a bustling city filled with tall buildings, honking cars, and busy people. As she walked through the streets, her alien appearance turned heads. Her skin shimmered with colors never seen on Earth, and her long, flowing hair glowed like jewels. Virella decided to challenge the humans. She appeared in a central park, glowing with power, and shouted to the crowd, "Behold, I am Virella, the Queen of Zerathia. You are all pathetic creatures. Your technology is weak, your brains are small, and your days are numbered." The crowd gasped in fear and awe, but most were just confused. They had never seen anything like her before. Among the crowd was a young girl named Mia. She was 10 years old and had a curious mind. While others were afraid of the alien queen, Mia felt a strange thrill. "Is that really true?" she asked boldly, stepping forward. "Are we really that weak?" Virella laughed, her voice echoing through the park. "You do not even know how to travel among the stars. What can you possibly do?" Mia thought for a moment. She looked around and saw a pencil lying on a bench. An idea struck her, and she picked it up. "This is a pencil," she shouted to Virella. "You might think it's just a simple object, but we use it to create drawings, write stories, and share ideas. It is our tool for communication." The crowd murmured, intrigued. Virella raised an eyebrow, slightly annoyed. "A pencil? Pathetic. You think that can match my advanced technology?" Mia stepped closer, her heart racing. "Maybe not, but it shows that we can imagine and express ourselves. Isn't that a kind of power?" With a burst of laughter, Virella replied, "You are foolish, little girl. You think that mere ideas can compare to the might of my empire?" But Mia didn't back down. "No, it's not just ideas. It's what we can do with them." She started to draw on a piece of paper she had folded in her pocket. Drawing quickly, she created a picture of the sky with stars, planets, and a rocket ship. The crowd watched, captivated. "See," Mia said, "from just a simple pencil I can show you worlds you've never seen." Virella was taken, aback. "What trickery is this?" she exclaimed, her confidence shaken just a little. "It's not trickery," Mia insisted. "It's imagination. Humans have created great things through art, stories, and dreams. You may be powerful, but creativity is a strength in itself." She held up the drawing for everyone to see, and the crowd erupted in applause. Virella felt an unfamiliar feeling stirring inside her. Curiosity. Imagination. "Virella," repeated, her tone less mocking. "Is that your strength?" "Yes!" Mia shouted. "It's how we solve problems, tell stories, and inspire each other. It brings us together." The crowd cheered, and for the first time, Virella felt a twinge of respect. Seeing the reaction of the people, Virella's arrogance began to fade. She had come to Earth to mock humanity, but instead she found herself fascinated by this little girl's passion. Virella stepped closer, her tone shifting. Show me how your pencil can create this imagination." Mia smiled brightly. She handed Varela the pencil and showed her how to draw. "Just let your mind wander," she said gently. Under Mia's guidance, Varela started to sketch. At first, her lines were chaotic and unsteady, but with every stroke, she began to feel something new. As Varela drew, the crowd watched in awe. They were witnessing a mighty queen connecting with their world in a way they never thought possible. She drew planets and creatures, ideas swirling from her mind onto the paper. With each image, the audience felt the power of creation unfolding, and even Varela could see the beauty in it. When Varela finished, she looked at her creation. It was a colorful scene filled with stars and strange landscapes. "I never knew this feeling," she murmured. "To create something out of nothing." The crowd cheered louder. They no longer feared the queen. They admired her for joining in their world of creativity. Varela took a deep breath and addressed the crowd. "I have underestimated you humans. You possess a talent I had never considered. Your creativity holds a power that even my empire cannot ignore." Mia grinned, her heart soaring. "We can learn from each other," she suggested. "Imagine what we can create together." Varela nodded, her heart softening. "Let it be known across the galaxy. The Queen of Zarathia will forge an alliance. With humanity, we will share knowledge, ideas, and creativity. And so, the once mighty queen who had come to Earth to mock its people found herself humbled by a simple pencil. She returned to her planet, not as a conqueror, but as an ally of humankind. From that day forward, the universe witnessed the merging of two worlds united by imagination, creativity, and the realization that true power lies not just in technology, but in the stories we tell and the connections we make. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, where stars twinkled like diamonds scattered across a velvet cloth, there existed a civilization far beyond human comprehension. The Krill, an empire of insectoid beings, possessed technology that could warp space and time, and their dominion stretched across galaxies. At the helm of this formidable empire was Queen Zithra, a being of immense power and intellect, whose disdain for humanity was as profound as her ambition was boundless. Zithra saw humans as primitive, chaotic creatures barely evolved from their ape ancestors. Their wars, their pollution, their petty squabbles, all were signs of a species unworthy of the galaxy they inhabited. She had observed them for centuries, monitoring their progress with a detached amusement, convinced that they posed no threat to her grand designs. One day, a Krill scout ship stumbled upon a derelict human vessel drifting in the void. It was a research ship, long lost and forgotten, its crew frozen in cryogenic sleep. Among the ship's artifacts was a simple, unassuming object, a wooden pencil. The Krill brought it to Zithra, curious about its purpose. Zithra examined the pencil with disdain. "What is this pathetic trinket?" she hissed, her mandibles clicking in annoyance. "It is a writing tool, Your Majesty," replied Xylar, her advisor, a Krill of considerable intelligence. "Humans use it to create symbols on a surface, to record their thoughts and ideas." Zithra scoffed. "How quaint. A primitive method of communication. We can transmit thoughts across light years with ease." She tossed the pencil aside, dismissing it as a useless relic of a backward species. But Xylar, ever the inquisitive one, saw something more in the pencil. He began to study human history, poring over the recovered data logs from the derelict ship. He learned about the pencil's significance in human culture, how it had been used to draft constitutions, write novels, design skyscrapers, and solve complex mathematical problems. He saw that the pencil was not just a tool for writing. It was a symbol of human ingenuity, creativity, and perseverance. Xylar approached Zithra once more, his multifaceted eyes gleaming with excitement. "Your Majesty, I believe this pathetic trinket holds the key to understanding humanity's unique potential. Zithra, intrigued by Xylar's enthusiasm, reluctantly agreed to hear him out. Xylar explained how the pencil represented the human capacity for abstract thought, their ability to visualize and create things that did not yet exist. He argued that this creative spark was what had allowed them to overcome countless challenges and achieve remarkable feats, despite their technological limitations. Zithra listened intently, her mandibles twitching as she considered Xylar's words. She began to see the pencil in a new light. It was not just a tool for writing. It was a symbol of human potential, a testament to their boundless imagination. But Zithra's curiosity soon turned to concern. She realized that humanity's creativity was a double-edged sword. It could be used for good, to build and create, but it could also be used for destruction. She had seen evidence of this in their history, their wars, their weapons, their capacity for cruelty. Zithra summoned her war council and presented them with Xylar's findings. She explained her concerns about humanity's potential and the threat they might pose to the Krill Empire. The council was divided. Some argued that humanity was too primitive to be a threat and should be ignored. Others believed that they should be eliminated before they could develop the technology to challenge the Krill. Zithra listened to the debate, her mind racing. She knew that she had to make a decision that would safeguard her empire, but she also felt a strange sense of responsibility towards humanity. She couldn't bring herself to condemn an entire species based on their potential for destruction. Zithra decided to test humanity. She ordered Xylar to use the recovered human technology to send a message to Earth, a challenge to see if humans were as creative and innovative as Xylar claimed. The message contained a complex mathematical puzzle, one that would require a deep understanding of physics, engineering, and abstract thought to solve. The message reached Earth, and the world's greatest minds were put to the task. Scientists, mathematicians, and engineers from every nation worked together, pooling their knowledge and resources to decipher the alien challenge. Weeks turned into months, and the pressure mounted. The Krill watched with growing anticipation, eager to see if humanity would rise to the occasion or crumble under the weight of the challenge. Finally, after months of tireless effort, a breakthrough was made. A young physicist, a woman named Dr. Eris Thorne, discovered a crucial piece of the puzzle, a hidden pattern that unlocked the entire solution. The solution was transmitted back to the Krill, and Zithra received it with a mixture of awe and apprehension. Humanity had proven its intelligence and creativity beyond any doubt. They had solved a problem that even some of the Krill's brightest minds would have struggled with. Zithra summoned Dr. Thorne to her throne room, using the Krill's advanced technology to transport her across the vast gulf of space. When Dr. Thorne appeared before her, Zithra was struck by her humanity. She was small, frail, and seemingly insignificant, yet her eyes burned with intelligence and determination. "You have impressed me, human," Zithra said, her voice echoing through the chamber. "You have proven that your species possesses a remarkable capacity for creativity and innovation." Dr. Thorne stood her ground, her gaze unwavering. "We are more than just our technology, Queen Zithra. We are also capable of compassion, empathy, and love. We strive for a better future, not just for ourselves, but for all species." Zithra was taken aback by Dr. Thorne's words. She had expected arrogance or fear, but she saw only sincerity and hope. Zithra, for the first time, questioned her own beliefs about humanity. She realized that she had been judging them based on their flaws, ignoring their potential for greatness. "What do you want from us, human?" Zithra asked, her voice softening. "We want to learn from you, Queen Zithra," Dr. Thorne replied. "We want to share our knowledge and our culture. We want to build a future where all species can coexist in peace and harmony." Zithra considered Dr. Thorne's words. She realized that humanity was not a threat to be eliminated, but a potential ally, a partner in the grand cosmic dance. Zithra made a decision that would change the course of history. She extended a hand to humanity, offering them a place among the stars. She shared the Krill's knowledge and technology, helping them to advance and prosper. Humanity, in turn, shared its culture and its values with the Krill. They taught them about art, music, literature, and the importance of compassion and empathy. Together, the Krill and humanity forged a new alliance, one based on mutual respect, understanding, and a shared desire for a better future. The pencil, once a symbol of human primitiveness, became a symbol of their ingenuity and their potential for greatness. Queen Zithra, who had once mocked humanity, came to admire them, seeing in them a reflection of her own boundless curiosity and ambition. And so, in the vast expanse of the cosmos, a new chapter began, a story of cooperation, understanding, and the power of a simple pencil to bridge the gap between two vastly different civilizations. Once upon a time, in a galaxy not so far away, there existed a powerful alien queen named Zephyra. She ruled over a vast empire with countless planets and a formidable army. Her ships roamed the stars, striking fear into all who heard her name. Zephyra believed her technology surpassed all others, especially that of a small planet called Earth, filled with humans whom she considered primitive and simple-minded. One day, while her ship hovered above Earth, she decided to send a transmission to humiliate humanity. Her voice boomed across the world, echoing in every language. "Humans, you are weak and foolish. Your greatest minds could never match the brilliance of my empire. Bow to me, or suffer the consequences." People on Earth watched in shock as the Queen's face filled their screens. They felt small and afraid. But one little girl named Mia was not afraid at all. Mia was 10 years old and loved to draw. She had a simple yellow pencil and a good imagination, and she believed art could change the world. As soon as she heard Zephyra's message, Mia grabbed her pencil and paper. "We can't let her think we're weak," she said to her friends, Lucas and Arya. They nodded in agreement. They brainstormed ways to respond to the Queen's challenge. "What if we draw something amazing?" Lucas suggested. "If she thinks we're weak, we should show her how strong we can be." They sat together in Mia's room, scattered with colorful drawings on the walls, and began to create. They drew a giant Earth filled with life, trees, animals, and people smiling. They made sure to add their favorite superheroes fighting off imaginary aliens. As they sketched, they talked about how humans are strong in different ways. They share stories about love, kindness, creativity, and teamwork. The children were so focused and excited that they lost track of time. When they finished their masterpiece, they stood back in awe. It was a drawing full of vibrant colors and powerful images. Mia felt a spark in her heart. "This is more than just a drawing. This is our message to the Queen." Meanwhile, in her spaceship, Queen Zephyra watched Earth with her high-tech monitors, still smug from her earlier transmission. She was sure she had nothing to worry about. But when she switched to the channel broadcasting the children's drawing, her confident expression changed. She was taken aback by the workers of imagination pouring from the paper. The bright colors conveyed humanity's spirit, and the bravery of their superheroes truly impressed her. "What is this?" Zephyra murmured, scanning the images. She had expected fear, but was met with creativity. She narrowed her eyes and focused on the pencil. "They think a drawing can challenge me?" To show her disdain, she decided to attack a small city as a demonstration of her power. Zooming down in her mighty spaceship, she prepared to strike. But just before she unleashed her weapons, something surprising happened. A glimmer from the drawing caught her eye. It was the simple yellow pencil Mia had used. The pencil was not just an ordinary tool. Somehow it radiated energy, and the drawing seemed to come to life. The superheroes leaped, showcasing their strength and unity. Zephyra had never seen anything like it. An inexplicable force started to pull at her mind, and the confident expression began to slip away. "What sorcery is this?" she yelled out loud. "This can't be real!" She felt something inside her change. The power of a human's imagination was far stronger than anything she had ever experienced in her life. It was surreal, haunting her thoughts and making her feel small for the first time. The humans had not used technology to impress her. They had used their hearts and minds. The vibrant joy and unwavering spirit of hope and creativity were like nothing she had ruled over. Her surroundings shifted for a moment, as if the very essence of the drawing could reach her, drawing her closer to the earth. Back on the ground, Mia and her friends had no idea what was happening in space. They were hopeful and nervous, waiting for any sign that their message reached the Queen. Suddenly, a bright light streaked across the sky. A mini explosion of colors spread like fireworks, and in that moment they felt a shift in the air. Everyone in the city looked up, oohing and ahing at the spectacle. Then a voice thundered from the sky. This time, it was not mocking. "I, Zephyra, acknowledge your creativity and the power of your imaginations. You have shown me that strength comes in many forms, and I have judged you too harshly." The children stared in disbelief, realizing their drawing was powerful enough to reach the Queen. "What can we do?" Mia shouted into the air, her heart racing. "We want to show you who we really are." The Queen's voice softened a little. "Show me more. Show me the strength of your hearts, and I will listen." Mia and her friends quickly gathered their courage. They decided to create a new drawing, capturing their hopes, dreams, and the beauty of humanity. They worked with joy, creating a mural larger than themselves, using bright colors and different tools. People from their school and neighborhood joined in, sharing their stories, worries, and dreams. The community united, each person adding a piece of their heart to the mural. When they finished, they looked at their creation, a beautiful representation of unity, diversity, and hope. They looked up to the sky and called out, "This is us! This is who we are!" Zephyra observed the mural from above, feeling overwhelmed with emotion. For the first time, she saw the world not as something to conquer, but as a beautiful tapestry, filled with stories and dreams. The pride and love of the humans on Earth were undeniable. "Humans," she finally announced, "I have been wrong. The strength you possess is greater than I could ever imagine. I shall no longer be your enemy. Instead, I offer my hand in friendship." The children cheered. They ran to each other, hugging and laughing. They had done the impossible. With a simple pencil and a powerful message of creativity, they had changed Zephyra's heart. And so, the alien queen became an ambassador of peace, promoting the art and creativity of humanity across the galaxy. Earth and Zephyra's empire forged a bond, learning from one another in a beautiful harmony that echoed through the stars, proving that even the tiniest spark of imagination can change the universe. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, where stars twinkled like diamonds scattered across a velvet cloth, there existed a formidable alien empire known as the Krill. Their queen, a being of immense power and intellect named Xylar, ruled with an iron fist, her gaze fixed on the conquest and subjugation of all lesser species. Among the many civilizations that had fallen before the Krill onslaught was humanity, a race Xylar considered pathetically weak and insignificant. Xylar, with her towering stature and shimmering obsidian skin, often entertained herself by observing, the humans finding their primitive technology and emotional outbursts amusing. "Such fragile creatures," she would sneer, watching them through her advanced surveillance systems. "They squabble over trivial matters, cling to outdated beliefs, and yet they dare to call themselves intelligent." One day, while reviewing the latest reports from the Krill occupation forces on Earth, Xylar stumbled upon a peculiar object. It was a simple writing tool, a humble pencil made of wood and graphite. "What is this?" she inquired, her voice echoing through the throne room. A Krill scientist, Zorgon, stepped forward, his multi-jointed limbs clicking against the metallic floor. "Your Majesty, it is a pencil, a tool used by the humans for writing and drawing." Xylar raised a skeptical eyebrow. "Writing? Drawing? What purpose do such frivolous activities serve? Do they not realize their impending doom?" Zorgon hesitated before answering. "The humans seem to derive some form of pleasure from these activities, Your Majesty. They use pencils to create stories, express emotions, and record their history." Xylar scoffed. How utterly pointless! Such a crude instrument could never compare to our advanced technology. "Bring me this pencil. I wish to examine it more closely." The pencil was brought before Xylar, and she regarded it with disdain. It was a simple yellow pencil, slightly worn from use, with a pink eraser at the end. Xylar picked it up with her clawed fingers, feeling its smooth surface. "Such a primitive thing," she muttered. "How could anyone find value in this?" Driven by a mixture of curiosity and mockery, Xylar decided to experiment with the pencil. She summoned a blank data slate and attempted to write on it. To her surprise, the pencil left a dark mark on the surface. She scribbled a few lines, creating crude shapes and patterns. "Fascinating," she mused. "It seems this tool can indeed be used to create images. But what is the purpose? Why would anyone waste their time on such trivial pursuits?" As Xylar continued to experiment with the pencil, she began to understand its potential. She realized that it was not just a tool for writing and drawing, but a means of communication, expression, and creativity. The humans, despite their technological limitations, had found a way to capture their thoughts and ideas, to share their stories and dreams with the world. Intrigued, Xylar ordered her scientists to gather more information about human art and literature. She spent hours studying their paintings, sculptures, poems, and novels, immersing herself in their world of imagination and emotion. The more she learned, the more she began to question her own beliefs and values. "These humans," she thought, "they may be weak and technologically inferior, but they possess something that the Krill have long forgotten. The ability to create, to dream, to hope." Xylar realized that the Krill, in their relentless pursuit of power and conquest, had become stagnant and unimaginative. They had lost their capacity for joy, for wonder, for the simple pleasures of life. The pencil, a symbol of human creativity, had opened her eyes to this truth. Over the next few weeks, Xylar became increasingly withdrawn and introspective. She spent less time overseeing the Krill Empire and more time studying human art and literature. She even started to draw her own pictures, crude and awkward at first, but gradually improving with practice. Her advisors grew concerned about her behavior. They whispered among themselves, wondering if their queen was losing her. "She spends her days scribbling with a primitive tool," they complained. "She has forgotten her duties, her responsibilities." Finally, a delegation of Krill officials approached Xylar, demanding an explanation for her actions. "Your Majesty," they said, "we are worried about you. You have neglected your duties, abandoned your people. What has happened to you?" Xylar looked at them, her eyes filled with a newfound sense of understanding and compassion. "I have realized that we, the Krill, have been living a lie," she said. "We have become obsessed with power and conquest, forgetting what it means to be truly alive. The humans, despite their weaknesses, have shown me the importance of creativity, of imagination, of hope." The Krill officials were stunned by her words. They had never heard their queen speak in such a way. "But Your Majesty," they protested, "we are the Krill. We are the most powerful race in the galaxy. We cannot afford to be weak or sentimental." Xylar shook her head. "Strength is not just about power and domination," she said. "It is also about compassion, understanding, and the ability to appreciate the beauty of the universe. With a newfound sense of purpose, Xylar announced a radical change in Krill policy. She ordered an end to the war against humanity and initiated a program of cultural exchange, encouraging her people to learn from the humans and embrace their creativity. The Krill were initially resistant to these changes, but gradually, they began to understand Xylar's vision. They started to explore human art and literature, to experiment with new forms of expression, and to rediscover the joy of creation. The pencil, once a symbol of human weakness, became a symbol of hope and inspiration for the entire Krill Empire. Xylar, the queen who had once mocked humanity, had been brought to her knees by the simple power of a pencil, a reminder that even the smallest of things can have the greatest impact. And so, the Krill and the humans, once bitter enemies, began to forge a new path together, a path of understanding, cooperation, and shared creativity, all thanks to the humble pencil that had opened the eyes of a queen. In a galaxy far away, an alien race known as the Krylocks had long been the rulers of their domain. The Krylocks were powerful beings, advanced in technology and strength. At their helm was the alien queen named Sarvok, with skin shimmering like liquid silver and eyes that glowed with an otherworldly light. The Krylocks viewed themselves as gods and laughed at weaker beings, including humanity, whom they considered mere insects. They had conquered planets and subjugated countless species, claiming their worlds without a hint of remorse. On Earth, a young girl named Mia loved to draw. Every day after school, she would sit by her window with a plain pencil and sketch the world around her. She drew everything: birds, trees, her dog, and even dreamt of strange creatures from her imagination. But she never imagined that her drawings would become important in a battle between her planet and the Krylocks. One day, a massive spaceship entered the Earth's atmosphere. It cast a shadow over Mia's town as it landed in the park. The Krylocks had come to conquer Earth, led by Sarvok herself. She emerged from the ship, her presence overwhelming. The people of the town were terrified, staring up at her in awe and fear. Sarvok looked down at the humans and laughed, her voice echoing through the park. "You small creatures think you can defeat a goddess like me? Your technology is pathetic." She raised her hand, showing off a dazzling weapon that could obliterate anything in its path. Mia felt a surge of determination. She didn't want to see her home destroyed. She gathered her friends: Jackson, a brave boy with a knack for strategy; Sophie, a smart girl who loved science; and Ben, an artist like her who shared the same passion for drawing. Together, they formulated a plan. "Let's show her something that can't be destroyed with weapons," Mia suggested. "Let's draw her what humans can create." That night, the children sat in Mia's room, surrounded by papers and pencils. They drew images of humanity's greatest achievements: the pyramids of Egypt, the Eiffel Tower, and even the small things like families together, laughing, and friends supporting each other. They filled pages with drawings of hope, creativity, and kindness, the things that made humans special. The next day, they gathered the courage to face Sarvok. They approached the alien queen, flyers in hand. "We want to show you what humanity is about," Mia said nervously, her heart pounding. Sarvok looked down, her interest piqued at the sight of the colorful drawings. "What is this? Is this your desperate attempt to impress me?" she mocked. "Just look," Jackson urged her. "This is humanity's spirit." They presented their drawings one by one. As they flipped through the pages, Sarvok grew quiet. The first drawing showed people united, holding hands around the globe. The next depicted a scientist discovering a cure for a disease. Each image told a story of resilience, creativity, and compassion. For the first time, Sarvok felt a twinge of something unfamiliar: curiosity. Why would you waste time on paper and drawing? She scoffed, but deep down, her interest had shifted. It was unlike anything she had seen in her conquests. She was used to fear, not understanding. Mia, sensing the shift, stepped forward. We create to express ourselves, to share our experiences. This is our power, different from yours. It doesn't destroy, it builds. She held out a simple pencil, the tool she had used to create those drawings. This holds our imagination and our dreams. Sarvok, looking down at the pencil, found herself intrigued. You dare give me something so simple? She asked, her voice laced with uncertainty. With shaky hands, Mia placed the pencil in Sarvok's palm. It represents our ability to dream, to create worlds. You may conquer with weapons, but we conquer with ideas and love. Sarvok closed her fingers around the pencil, feeling the weight of it. In her lifetime of conquest, she had never encountered an enemy that responded with creativity instead of fear. A flicker of vulnerability crossed her features, though she quickly masked it with her usual bravado. You are foolish to think this means anything, she sneered. But Mia noticed the doubt in her eyes. Suddenly, Sarvok unleashed her weapon, aiming for the ground near the children. But just as she pulled the trigger, she hesitated. She looked at the drawings, especially one of a child holding a parent's hand, and felt an ache in her heart. No! She almost shouted, lowering her weapon. In that moment, something shifted within Sarvok. She looked at Mia and her friends, realizing that humanity's spirit was something she couldn't conquer or destroy. They had shown her something, more powerful than any weapon, hope and creativity. I understand now, Sarvok finally said, her voice softer. She knelt in front of the children, almost on her knees. Your kind embodies something I cannot control. I wish to learn. Teach me. Mia's heart raced. We can, but first don't harm anyone. You can help us instead. The alien, Queen nodded, standing tall once again, but with a new air of respect. She turned to her army, who had been ready for battle. Stand down, she commanded. We will not conquer today. We will learn. And so, in time, Sarvok and her Krylox began to work alongside humans. They exchanged knowledge and ideas, sharing experiences both painful and uplifting. The pencil that had once seemed so simple became a symbol of a new alliance, a bridge built between two worlds. As the seasons changed, Mia and her friends often visited the Krylox, drawing together with Sarvok and her people. Children's laughter filled the air, and for the first time under a sky once ruled by fear, a new friendship bloomed. The alien queen, once a goddess of war, had found a new calling, one that embraced the beauty of creativity and unity. And so, humanity had not only survived, but had inspired their conqueror to see the universe in a whole new light. The Zargonian queen, Xylar, hovered above the observation deck, her 4 eyes gleaming with disdain. Below her, a team of human scientists scrambled around a table, their faces etched with a mixture of anxiety and determination. They were trying, and failing, to explain the intricacies of their technology to their new overlords. Pathetic, Xylar hissed, her voice a raspy echo in the vast chamber. You call these contraptions computers? They are slower than a Zargonian abacus? And these vehicles? They crawl across the surface of your planet like insects. General Vark, Xylar's second-in-command, chuckled, a sound like rocks grinding together. Indeed, Your Majesty, their weapons are equally unimpressive. We met little resistance during the invasion. Earth had fallen swiftly. The Zargonians, with their advanced technology and ruthless efficiency, had crushed human defenses in a matter of weeks. Now, they occupied the planet, studying its inhabitants and plundering its resources. Xylar turned her attention back to the humans. Show me something, anything, that demonstrates your worth, she commanded. Give me a reason not to obliterate your entire species. Dr. Eris Thorne, the lead scientist, stepped forward, his hands trembling slightly. Your Majesty, we have made significant advancements in medicine, agriculture, and energy production. We can offer you knowledge that could benefit your empire. Xylar scoffed. We already possess knowledge far superior to yours. Your medicine is primitive, your agriculture inefficient, and your energy production laughable. You burn fossil fuels. It is a wonder you haven't choked yourselves to extinction. Desperation filled Eris's eyes. He knew that the fate of humanity rested on his shoulders. He had to find something, anything, to impress the queen. He glanced around the room, his gaze landing on a simple object lying on the table. A pencil. It was just a common wooden pencil with a graphite core and a pink eraser at the end. He had been using it to sketch diagrams earlier, but now it seemed like the only thing that could save them. Your Majesty, Eris said, his voice gaining a newfound confidence. Allow me to demonstrate a tool that embodies human ingenuity and resourcefulness. Xylar raised an eyebrow, intrigued despite herself. What is that? Stick? Eris picked up the pencil and held it out. This, Your Majesty, is a pencil. It is a simple writing instrument, but it represents our ability to create complex ideas and communicate them to others. Xylar stared at the pencil with disdain. You dare present me with a child's toy? What possible use could this have for the Zargonian Empire? Allow me to show you, Eris replied. He walked over to a blank sheet of paper and began to draw. With quick, precise strokes, he sketched a complex diagram of a Zargonian warship. He captured every detail, from the intricate energy cannons to the reinforced hull plating. Xylar watched in astonishment as the image took shape. The accuracy was remarkable. It was as if Eris had a blueprint of the ship stored in his mind. How is this possible? She demanded. How can you create such a detailed image with such a crude instrument? It is not the instrument, Your Majesty, Eris explained. It is the skill and knowledge of the user. The pencil is merely a tool to express our ideas. He continued to draw, adding annotations and explanations to the diagram. He pointed out weaknesses in the ship's design and suggested improvements. He even sketched a new type of energy shield that could deflect Zargonian weaponry. Xylar was stunned. She had underestimated the humans. They may not have possessed advanced technology, but they had something far more valuable: creativity and intellect. Impressive, she admitted grudgingly. But can this pencil do anything else? Eris smiled. Indeed, Your Majesty, it can also be used for mathematics, engineering, and countless other applications. He proceeded to demonstrate the pencil's versatility. He solved complex equations, designed intricate machines, and even wrote a short poem. Each demonstration further impressed Xylar and her crew. General Vark, who had been so dismissive earlier, now looked on with a mixture of awe and apprehension. He realized that the humans were not as insignificant as he had thought. Xylar stepped closer to Eris. Her 4 eyes narrowed in thought. You have shown me something of value, human. You have demonstrated that your species possesses a unique form of intelligence that could benefit the Zargonian Empire. Then you will spare us? Eris asked, his voice filled with hope. Xylar hesitated for a moment. She had come to Earth with the intention of conquering and exploiting its resources. But now, she saw an opportunity to gain something even greater: knowledge. I will spare your species, she declared. But you will work for me? You will use your pencils to help us improve our technology and expand our empire. Eris nodded gratefully. We accept your terms, Your Majesty. We will do everything in our power to assist you. Xylar turned to General Vark. Establish a research facility for these humans, provide them with all the resources they need, and ensure that they are treated with respect. Vark bowed his head. As you command, Your Majesty. The Zargonian queen had come to Earth to conquer and destroy. But in the end, she was defeated by a simple pencil. It was a testament to the power of human ingenuity and creativity. The pencil became a symbol of hope for humanity. It represented their ability to overcome adversity and find value in the simplest of things. It was a reminder that even the most powerful empires can be brought to their knees by the power of the human mind. Years passed, and the humans worked alongside the Zargonians, sharing their knowledge and skills. They helped to improve Zargonian technology, medicine, and agriculture. They even taught the Zargonians how to appreciate art and literature. The Zargonian Empire flourished under the influence of human creativity. They became more innovative, more compassionate, and more understanding. They learned to value knowledge and collaboration over conquest and domination. And it all started with a simple pencil, a symbol of human ingenuity that had saved a species and changed the course of an empire. It was a reminder that even the smallest of things can have the greatest impact.